setup of Guild is going to deliver us. We're directly hopping in game, and it's going to be an exciting one because that was quite a stint over on Icebox. Now let's see if it's getting that close once more.
I think it has to rely on Guild having a good defensive half. It's clearly been their best half out of the two sides. Their attack has left a lot to be desired. But retakes without the Astra is certainly going to be an interesting one. Safe away from the Cypher is what usually plays onto those more impactful agents. And has it been impactful? It's been amazing for him today. Leo not on the Sova, you don't typically see it on this map, and Draken is going to be under a little bit of that early pressure on the Cypher. There's no Viper utility to rely on when it comes to that A site. So it's a quiet start. Supermassive Blaze are looking for other opportunities, but they're going to find a wall in mid.
It's the only thing they find, and if I remember correctly, SMB, for example, a team that does play this around the world setup where they go in B heaven, wall it up, then go towards the A site. They're creative. They're creative. I like that. I like that a lot, but as they have been met with a wall, now they're met with a slow ARP. A lot of attention towards mid, Ryan, but all the silence around the map.
Orb in the middle of the map. Smoke to just make things really difficult, but is it going to put off Power? Absolutely not. That's one of the big things overall. And Bonka, well, if you're playing at home and you got to find use, and the paranoia is nice, as he finds himself in a position where he didn't want to be. I don't think he realized he was boosted up on the Sage wall. Yassine finds a nice opening, and Pora's about to get even more.
And the lurks of Pora. Kakuka just set it, and then she's obviously right with that, where Draken is coming down, and he's popping a bullet in the head of him, though, and his counterpart eliminated. A 1 versus 3 that Draken can usually win, but not this time around. SMB successfully getting around number 1, the pistol, and so Guild's on the back foot on this defense.
Been a big concern with the changes from Guild's composition is one of the bright starts of Guild. Last time we saw them play, it was up against Vodafone Giants. Despite a nice start, aggressive teams could get in under them, and especially if there's a lurk allowed for Pora. Considering how much utility was used in mid, Pora shouldn't be able to get through that easily.
Absolutely, but at the same time, Pora makes the impossible possible somehow with his lurks. It's crazy what this guy can deliver. In the meantime, Guild just upgrading a single weapon, and that will be the Sheriff over there on Draken. At least they will get themselves with the 8 orb ult. For I mean,
it's just a grunt as well. It's just
yeah, and he's just sneaking back. I'm out of here, guys. See you later.
You're gonna heal up, but just in a second, I suppose. Or maybe they just decide against it. It is saving a little bit of money. It might add up in the end. But I think one thing is that Save Cypher is so good on this map, so seeing the changeover to Draken, you sort of want to see that kind of impact. And it is still just pistols against pistols here. You see tries to close the distance, but gets wide peaked, and he can't keep up with it. Supermassive Blaze are making this look flawless so far, and if Safe and Leo can't find any impact, SMB's money's maybe going to start to run riot.
Oh, there you go. Finally a kill. Finally a little upgrade. And I mean, at least making it expensive, even though it will be a bonus in the next one for SMB, that would be nice to see, because realistically speaking, that retake is not working very
There's a flash, so maybe Safe can go on for that peak against Dizzy. Leo's actually just going to close that distance, but sort of half checks it. I mean, that was a really awkward engagement in the end, but Leo, I think 3 players on this round is not too bad now. It's worth an attempt to try and get in on the site if he can. If you can get more kills, then even better. I don't think the round's going to maybe go the way of Guild. But Supermassive Blaze, if they are stuck in this position and they're scared to move, the Spike's going to take care of them.
And maybe even better, if Leo's getting the kills, he's getting closer to his resurrection. And that would be even better for them, but they seemingly are stuck. They can't move. Steps will be hurt. Leo is ready for the first one. Can't get any. That's kind of unfortunate, but run and gun isn't working all the time. Still expensive. SMB got to upgrade on a bunch of players. Well, getting the real weapons in is the right way to put it, but there you go. Guild, mid, expensive, and now the real rifles will come out for them. And this is where it matters, right? This is where Guild is usually kind of patient in their kind of plays. They're waiting things out, and Breach was a very good opportunity to deny any actions from opponents. Now, as this is not anymore in the pool, I mean, it's going to be interesting how they slow him down from this point.
I guess the default is going to be a little bit different for Supermassive Blaze. Not having that Sky means you don't have that Trailblazer to just close up that distance. It means that Guild don't need to play as scared of it, and I think that's why they're playing so close. I think Gambit were one of the teams that made that default with a Trailblazer very popular. There's probably other teams I haven't mentioned, but just being able to get into this space. You don't have that utility to clear where Yassine is, and he's able to punish more, bringing out the pink shell. Maybe a bit of an overstep. But still, Guild find the kills that they need. They've spotted that gap that something like a Trailblazer can open up, and they close that door. If that's a little signal they can send to SMB for the rest of this half, then it's a lot of space given up for free.
Clear information. Fakes coming in from Turco as well as Pora as they made a few muddy steps towards the side of A, but it's not causing a big rotation from Guild. They're waiting where they are, and Draken just swinging a little bit, saw a bit of the code of Pora, and that fashion item might just be the nail in the coffin as he's swinging a little wide. Or frag on Leo not granted. It's become problematic for Draken. No, this should not happen. There's another player back on ropes. What is the decision here from SMB is the question. It's got to be Heaven. Bonkar is doing a good job with the paranoia. In the meantime, Safe might hit a good timing. He does. Gets one, and Pora is low HP as well. That flash does the job. The spike has not been picked, and now the coordination between the two players from Guild is important because you don't want to give two 1 versus 1s. That is not ideal. That is not what should happen. But Pora is making his best impression of a sprint, and he's running towards the A side. Swift and fast. Rope's been hurt. Does he get the kill on Safe is the question. He's giving him a warning shot, but he's going to make that. Is he going to make that plant? He's going to make that plant.
Just if he tries to get around the corner, nice note. Now this is going to be difficult. I think now they're slowly starting to pee to get that little space. It was looking awkward. I thought the Safe was just going to go in Hail Mary and get in on the flash, but Bonkar made that space nicely. Everybody got a kill, which is something you don't really typically see. But that shouldn't have been that close. That's still a good round for SMB considering they didn't have to buy up.
It shouldn't have been that close, 100%. It's a bit of a worrying sign there, but either way. I mean, those 2 kills in middle, that was the thing, right? Where they once more couldn't play together in combination. And, you know, Draken was backed off, so pressing fire back in ropes. It's going to be interesting to see what the proper buy round is going to deliver. You've seen a Draken, though. That's an interesting combo.
I just didn't like that Leo was just stood out in the open. I guess he was trying to get on an off angle, but trying to play off angles against Supermassive Blaze, like they are very comfortable, especially online with taking those kind of fights. Now with Draken with that judge, it's whether this kind of play really bears fruit. So far for Guild, not quite that much. A couple of shorty plays that have been attempted that haven't really met much, but I like the fact that they've put that smoke there from Bonkar to try and bait away. Draken's had to give up that space, and he's trying to close the distance with some of that utility. Now he's really in the pit, hoping to pull some people down into the muck.
Step above, Izzy's waiting, but a few pellets on the close range can be way better than accurate high caliber bullets. As you've seen, is waiting for us to swing a little to white. Spotted, seen, and the problem is now arising, but they have to go for ropes. Have been backed off from Heaven. 45 seconds, and the ropes are proven to be a death trap. Crucial information. They know they're back there in middle, and with 35 seconds, Ryan, they go for the B attack.
Draken's upgraded the gun as well. With the Neural Theft Sword at Supermassive Blaze, they're going to have to make a quick movement. A Paranoia as well. A very expensive bit of util, and there's no follow-up to the point that Bonkar peeks it himself. Now, you've seen with his own judge, could potentially break this one down. He's stalling, which makes things really awkward. All 5 members, or 4 members of Supermassive Blaze, all coming through one space. They actually make it out awkwardly.
Very awkwardly.
The meat grinder. I was just sort of expecting, saw a couple of kills from Supermassive Blaze. Again, costly for Guild, but the meat grinder prevails.
It's amazing what we've seen, because I honestly believe Guild is very aware about the entire setup of Supermassive Blaze. Because with Supermassive Blaze, you will see in 9 out of 10 cases, Pora waiting in front of the gates of A main, holding there with his Cypher utility, and just waits. He hopes somebody's pushing in, he's gonna wait and wait and wait and wait. It's a good thing. His lurks are dangerous. At the same time, it seems to be a predictability, and Guild can pretty much rule out such positions.
Now some ults available for when Supermassive Blaze can put together a full buy. The res is going to be important. I think Pora, I've enjoyed watching Pora this match.
True.
I think he's had a decent series, back to form. I don't think we really saw that impact. And this is a player still that you have to bear in mind that is, or has been IGLing for this team when he never IGL'd before. Like, any player that has a set performance and set expectations, then you force them to IGL, their stats are going to dip. I mean, that's one of the reasons why Bonkar typically underperforms stat-wise, but he's doing great. It's really been the battle of the IGLs having a much better return to form.
One crucial thing I find very worth pointing out with Bonkar He's saving his paranoia every single time until he's 100% sure there's an execute coming.
Yeah, you can't waste it.
No, but I mean, you can try to take early control, for example, or things like that. He's really waiting until they're coming in for the action. And in the meantime, the action seems to happen towards the B side.
Just more smokes coming in. They have a rough idea on where SMB are going to be playing in.
Boy.
There's no mid lurk as well because that Sage wall is there. It's not really been touched or scathed. Now it's likely to be broken down or at least waited out. He's kept a good eye on it. I quite like the idea of putting Leo onto that kind of agent because he's in a position that is constantly under threat. He can take those fights. He's got good utility and I mean, if Guild pull this back, he has been the MVP cleanly. I think Safe is a worthy contender, but
sure.
I think Leo, the impact that he's had across the day has been sublime.
I mean, I gotta say, the kind of little birdie I just saw on the minimap thrown from A ramp to mid has been amazing, but the only thing that matters right now is getting those shots, and that is what Bonkar does. Together with Leo, they're getting all the kills, but I have seen this before. Para is once more doing the best Para impression. Oh, that was a little awkward for a second, but he still gets Bonkar at least. I mean, you set the battle of the IGLs. There you have it. Third round granted for Guild.
Poor Bonkar. There is a couple of moments where sort of Leo lets down the guard. I think the play is worthwhile, boosting yourself up onto a wall on an angle that SMB have to clear. I do think that it's something that is going to be spoken about with the team, right? It's just, we have been caught out in that male position a couple of times, Leo, so just calm down a little bit. It's still not a bad result from Guild. They have to win this handily, I think, this defensive side, and now we might be able to see exactly what the attack pause was when it comes to what SMB need to fix. Now it's more of a straightforward default. There is still that mid pressure in. The Sage wall actually used a bit further back, so Leo doesn't want to contest for this space. Happy to give it up because he does have the Sage wall over on B, and then you've got the typical tripwire over in the rope room.
And rope's a position that SMB is very keen on, but
oh, this is nice. Look at the camera in B main. It's a common area that Safe used to put stuff down. It pretty much confirms that there's nobody pressuring in that spot. Thing is that Drake needs to not overthink it because there is a player playing very passively. Brave knows that Guild like to sort of play for the space. He's sort of expecting it. And considering now that Guild don't have that mid space, they are going to be wondering what the hell is going on.
If Draken passes, then the camera's not going to spot him. That's decent timing. He gets Turco, and that was not even intended. That shouldn't have happened, but it's a good stuff. They know where the spike now is. I mean, I've seen this before. I know that I've seen this, I think, a couple of times before. But you've seen, he's keen to hold them up. But for how long is the question? Good cam from Draken.
30 seconds left.
It's just one of those moments. A bit of luck on Guild's side. Turco's going to be a bit frustrated on that one, especially considering he has res. So that's a big ultimate to lose in these situations. Supermassive Blaze, they just cannot get onto the site. There's all of that utility. There's still a paranoia in hand. And a smoke also placed on the site as well just now from Bonker, just to allow Draken to get into a position where he can peek out of it. Very akin to what Nats does with his cyber cage. It's just, you know, jumps into them. Dapper does it as well. And doing it with that Omen util, and it's just been sneaky beaky. SMB look declawed right now.
And I'll be honest with you, Ryan, it's kind of a crazy thought to me that with all the room, all the space Para creates, that the B side executes still fail. The flanks he has, the timings he has. How many times has he been unsuspected? Like, it feels like 3, maybe 4, and those were major impact opportunities. But suddenly, it's not working according to plan, and Guilds are in a decent spot.
I feel like the sky is really lost on Supermassive Blades. I think just having that flash util, being able to get into positions, leverage mid a little bit more. Now another eco, couple of guns with a Bladestorm in hand, but even then, some of it is thwarted a little bit as he's able to take that space. The paranoia coming through from Bonker, and yet again, first to die. The follow-up isn't quite there, and is he trying to get onto Yassine, who doesn't really clock it, wants to try and find the follow-up, and safe within the cloud, within the smoke. The res dedicated for Izzy means that this is again a thrifty for SMB, but Guild make it a little bit more awkward than it needs to be.
That's insane. I mean, Izzy is going to find himself a triple. He's not going to get much more. And so what seemed to be a proper force could just now collapse. No chance at all. It's Brave who's finding a double, but there it goes. The third, swift and fast, they make the move. And this is the thing, right? SMB never attacks A. Never ever do they attack A in a fashion where even somebody else than Para is in front of ramp. And suddenly, they make a swift play. And they expect it to a certain degree, because you saw Bonker over on the side, but it still didn't work.
One of the main things I noticed for Guild when they were playing up against Giants earlier on this year, like Guild were looking the top team. I think they were like 10-5 up at a certain point. But then we started to see Giants throwing out these super fast executes. They just get under the timing of Guild, and Guild can't really react fast enough. Especially now that they don't have an Astra, it's even more problematic. You got the Omen smokes, they don't instantly bloom like Astras do. They have to sort of travel across the map overall, and it's an awkward position, but Guild really want to say to SMB, you cannot have this space. It's cost a lot of utility from both sides, but I still think it really favors SMB if they can put some pressure somewhere else.
Camera is destroyed.
I like that Drake has closed this distance, and he has a bit of help as well when it comes to safe to be able to maybe punish him. They don't know if it's safe, they don't know how much of SMB's rotated alongside. They know that they're still there at least.
Different setup from Para this time around, as it seemed maybe for him a little bit expected that they might play something different after that fast A hit they have done previous. 45 seconds now on the clock, all the Astra utility placed. And Raken doesn't stand a chance. That spike is gonna go down. Bonker is using his ult to move around. Unfortunate even that the Cypher ult is coming in just then. But it most likely wouldn't have made too much of a change. Spike is still not planted. Finally, it goes down. Brave is waiting back on ramp, and the entirety of Guild is coming in from the flank. Spara is ready for it, and it leaves it only down to Bonkar and Safe. With the rifles in hand,